everyone, welcome to the Animal Fact channel. Today's video is going to be about what are endangered animals, what categories exist, and what are the main causes for animals to become endangered. So let's go!
What are endangered animals? An endangered species is a group of animals, plants, or other organisms that are in danger of becoming extinct.
An animal can become endangered because of many reasons. For example, there are few of the animals left, its predators have grown in number, or the climate that lives in is changing or has been destroyed. But the two main causes animals become endangered is because of loss of habitat or loss of genetic variation. Loss of habitat can happen naturally. One example are the dinosaurs. They lost their habitat about 65 million years ago because of an asteroid. The impact of the asteroid forced the atmosphere to reduce the amount of heat and light that reached Earth. The dinosaurs were unable to adapt to this new cooler habitat. Dinosaurs became endangered, then extinct. Human activity can also contribute to the loss of habitat. Development for housing, industry, and agriculture reduces the habitat of native organisms. Development can eliminate this in an indirect or direct way. Loss of genetic variation can occur naturally. Genetic variation is the diversity found within a species' genetics. Genetic variation allows species to adapt to environmental changes. Usually, the bigger population of a species, the bigger its genetic variation. Inbreeding is reproduction with close family members. Groups of species that inbreed usually have little genetic variation because no new genetic information is introduced to the group. Inbreed species do not have the genetic variation to develop resistance to the diseases and other factors. Eventually, this leads to extinction. Human activity can also lead to a loss of genetic variation. Overhunting and overfishing reduces in a big quantity the population of animals. Reduced population means there are few breeding pairs. A breeding pair is made up of two major members of the species that are not closely related and can produce healthy offspring. With fewer breeding pairs, genetic variation shrinks.
When it comes to categorizing animals, there are lots of things that need to be taken into consideration. Experts perform a rigorous assessment of questions to categorize the species. Is the species habitat shrinking? If so, how quickly? How many animals of the species are left? Is that number decreasing? How drastically? Is there human activity involved? They look at what threats the species faces and any actions underway to protect it. According to the International Union of Conservation of Nature, IUCNs, there are 9 different categories. Extinct species no longer exist. After exhaustive research, scientists agree that there isn't a single living individual of the species. 99% of all species that ever lived over the past 5 billion years have gone extinct. One example is Miss Waldron's red columbus. Extinct in the wild are species that only survive in captivity, cultivation, or outside their native range. For example, if only 10 individuals of a rare fish are left, and they all live in zoos or in a single nature preserve, the IUCN will classify the species as extinct in the wild. One example is the Hawaiian crow. Critically endangered species are on the verge of becoming extinct or extinct in the wild, but have not yet met the criteria for either category. One example is the black rhinoceros. Endangered species are at very high risk of becoming extinct in the wild or extinct. For an animal to be added to the category, it must meet specific criteria regarding population or habitat decline. One example is the African forest elephant. Vulnerable species meet at least one of the 5 red list criteria. They're considered to be at high risk of human-caused extinction if conservatists don't intervene. One example is a cheetah. A species is considered near threatened when it doesn't qualify as critically endangered, or vulnerable, but scientists believe it will reach one of those levels in the future. One example is a bison.
Species that fall into the least concerned category are not presently facing any population or habitat declines. One example is the Arctic fox. Data-deficient species lack enough information to properly categorize into one of the groups above. One example is the dusky dolphin. This species has not yet been evaluated for an IUCN categorization. One example is the beagle.
Information retrieved from Endangered Animals AC Animals and National Geographic Society. We hope you liked this video and that you learned something new about endangered animals. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and turn on your notifications with a gray bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. Bye!